Hey, what's up YouTube? Dark Signer here, coming at you guys with another video. So essentially, I ended up not entering the YCS in Pasadena just because I messed up. Like, I don't know, I just thought I had enough time to sign up, and I was doing something I couldn't, so I wasn't able to sign up. So my only way to get into it was to win a V.I.P. qualifier. I entered the first one, ended up losing to the guy that I wasn't entering the same one as Pac. I ended up losing to the guy that Pac beat in the finals. It was just it was just me being dumb. Like, I had the game, I should have played against Pac, but it was I ended up messing up just because like I calculated damage wrong, and then just like remote duels are very hard to keep looking at the graveyard. So I thought he only had one Ray, and then he ended up having two. It was just like I said, a whole mishap, and then yeah, I just sucked. Like, I ended up losing by like 200 life points in time. Like, I should have just won, but if I saw the second Ray, then I would have made a completely different play and ended up winning the game. But I mean, things happened, and then I ended up playing the next VIP qualifier. Ended up winning that one. Matchups were very all over the place. It was like Life Twins, Tri Brigade, Flunders, and like a mirror match. And I forget the last deck. Yeah, I forget the last deck. But shout out to Ryan. He ended up being X1 in the finals. He was playing Flunders. Game 1 I ended up winning. That just set 5 and he just couldn't do anything. And then game 2, like, I'm pretty sure he had me, but he ended up just giving me the win because he wasn't able to go to what's it called? He couldn't go to Pasadena, so he was like, "You can have it, bro. I'm not tripping." And yeah, I mean, he ended up giving it to me. I ended up winning game 1 though, and then we were gonna go to game 3 against Flunders. I mean, I played like so much back row. So maybe I would have taken it anyways, but still, shout out to the boy Ryan. Like, yeah, and then after that, I went to locals. Yes, like the day after, I ended up winning locals. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really so crazy about the deck. Ended up going on what's it called, undefeated in Swiss. The only matchups I really remember was playing against, because it's just every other day. I remember round 1 to play against Trap Trick Amazement, into like a Tri Brigade, into the Life Twin deck. That deck's actually really, really scary. And then I ended up playing another Life Twin. I forget what the round 5 was. In top 8, I played against, I believe it was another Life Twin. And then in top 4, I played against Michael playing, just playing the, what's it called, the Sword Soul, going second. Like, he made deck like evenly matched Lightning Storms, etc. And in the finals was Flunders. So yeah, I'm sorry I've been talking so much. This is the deck. Like, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll kind of explain things as I go along. So I am playing Eldlich. I think Eldlich, to me, is like just my cup of tea, just because it's just so controlling. I get to kind of like slow down the pace of the game. Obviously, it sucks when you go second because you feel so defenseless, but like most of the time, like torrential strike or stuff like that just kind of ends the thing. You know what I mean? So it's all good. So yeah, so like I said, Eldlich, like my favorite deck. So 2. Golden Lord, what's it called? So we'll go with that. And then I ended up testing out the Ecclesia package. I think this was very good for me just because, like, at first I was just playing 1 Ecclesia and 3 Punishment just because I wanted to test it out. Like, I was testing on doing book and stuff. And I just didn't like it just because, like, obviously it's a good card, but it's just kind of like a going second. Sorry, a 4th copy of Punishment, which I didn't really want. Like, I didn't want to draw multiple punishments. Like, it sucks when you draw Punishment her. It's cool because like sometimes it baits out like the Ash and stuff, but if it doesn't, you just have multiple punishments. And it's okay because you get to discard them, I guess. But the thing is, it's just basically a 4th copy of it. So I ended up main decking the Nadirs instead, just to kind of make this card a little bit better. Just because it gives me like another way to like do stuff on turn 1, because you can send like the Pegasus. And then going second Nadir is just absolutely ridiculous. It just gave this deck like a going second play, essentially. Because this deck is already so good going first that I just wanted another way to go second. And that's basically what it was, like, just another way to go second, like, besides, like, because I lose, like, mad dice rolls. Like, if you know me in person, like, I lose, like, every dice roll, like, literally every dice roll. We were just talking about this at locals on Sunday, like, literally, and then I remember they were like, oh, let's do low roll instead, and I got a 12. So, what's it called, yeah, I lose dice rolls, like, all day, which is another big reason of why I'm only playing 2, and again, it sucks that I have to play through my luck. Just because, like I said, like, it's just like a habit. I go second. So I ended up only playing 2 of this for that reason. I didn't want to play 3 because it clogs. And going second against like a board of like a bunch of negates, you don't want to give them an easy card to negate because like this thing is like most of the time their boards is like monster negates and stuff like that. So you just give them like and then against like sword and stuff, like you don't really want to like waste like the one negate just on this. You get what I'm saying? Because then it just sucks. I'd rather just say like 5 every time. So I just wanted to play 2 just because it's another way to like just like deal with like going what's it called like lightning storm and all these other cards and stuff like that. But also against like all the DPE decks, like it's really good because it protects your back row from getting like end phase DP'd. So yeah, I'd rather just play this, and then obviously like it's just ridiculous. It makes you go into like rank 10s. It gets anything from your deck against like the mirror matches. You get like heavy storms or evenly matches or whatever when they clear this, and then same thing with like the pot of extravagance, obviously. So that card's ridiculous. And then play 3 extravagance and 1 duality. I wanted to bump this up to 2, but I just didn't see the need to it. It was fine at 1. They're very good. It just lets you dig through your deck. Tuna Deer, this card was ridiculous. Against every deck that I played against, it was really dumb. Even against like any DPE deck, this card is ridiculous because like I guess I kind of go hand in hand. So 2 L lands. So these 2 cards is kind of how you deal with DPE. Just because like a lot of the time you could go like L land into like into the Golden Lord, discard something, like try to bait out the DPE, and then once they put it in the graveyard, then you can Deer, and then send Omega, and then put it back. So it just happened a lot. Like this thing was really good, and then like again like I don't want to play 3 of these just because you already have enough ways to get to like your engine, and then but obviously like I like the added bonus of like being able to just search the Golden Lord and then just like popping stuff, and then obviously sending this is really good. It just gets like your entire engine going while being able to go second. Again, like I just want to push for second just because, like I said, going in first, like you have such a good matchup already as it is against like everything because you always set 5. But I just wanted more ways to go second, and obviously these cards kind of facilitated that. So yeah, and then there's nothing too much besides that. But yeah, like it just they were both like amazing, honestly. Like there's games where I took these out, or like sometimes depending on the matchup, I would take out Nadir's going first, stuff like that. But yeah. For the traps, so 3 Sanguine, 3 Conquistador, 2 Haquero, like these are all very, very standard, like there's nothing needed to be said, that's how I like the ratios. 3 Judgments, Triple Strike, Triple Torrential, like these are all like pretty good. 3 Punishments, again like with these, I mean they're all very basic traps, like a lot of the time when I would go like first again, I would take like 1 out just because like I already have access to like Ecclesia just to give me the 3rd copy of it, and I never wanted to see multiples of this because this and Ice Dragon are the only ones that are like once per turn, so I just didn't want to have multiples of that. I just didn't want to draw one in Ecclesia, so I ended up siding 1 out a lot of the time. Same thing if I went second, I took 1 out, and then against like Striker and stuff, I'll take up like Torrential and like against like different things. You know what I mean? Obviously, like everything's very matchup dependent, but going like just as your main deck, like you want to have as many copies of good cards as possible because of matchups. But once you side, obviously, then you kind of go accordingly depending on what the matchups. Same thing with 3 Dragons. I just wanted to have like easy outs to like Dragoons and everything, or like easy outs to like DPE. A lot of the time when they like summon DPE, you'll have this face down, and then they try to like end face pop you or something. So then you just Ice Dragon, or sometimes they'll like standby face it, or depending on what's going on. Or again, you can send like the Golden Lord or try to send it, and they chain, and then you chain Ice Dragon. So yeah, it just gives you so many ways to do stuff. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why L-Land is so good. Like 2 goes in match again. Like if I go second, this card isn't very strong, but if you go first, it's really good, and it's not good against every matchup. But so just we want to play 2 of it just to have access to it against the matchups, and then I side in the 3rd one when I need to. So. And then the last 2 Floodgates, the cards that everyone hates. 1 Ultra Skill Drain because you have to play Ultra, and 1 Ultra Imperial Order because this card never comes to me. Like, but like I need it a lot and it never comes. And that's it for the main deck. 40 cards. Like I didn't want to mess with the numbers. I wanted to draw like certain things. I don't want to play 2 Duality. I don't want to play Trap Trick. I didn't think Trap Trick was that good because like a lot of the time like it's just another copy of Sanguine, and I don't want to banish like Sanguine from my deck, because a lot of the time you grind through them like super fast. So imagine like if you like trap check for one of them and then you set whatever you already have actually you already lost two essentially, right? So then you only have one follow up. So I just don't like that. I rather just try to draw into the engine and just draw other traps that kind of like get me there and just take away the resources anyway. So yeah, I just didn't like trap check at all. Like don't play that card. I don't think that card's very good. As far as I'll go to the extra deck first and then I'll go to the side deck. So 3 Itness, obviously this card is for punishment. 1 Pegasus, same thing if they only have one launch on the board or just one card, or like if you were going first, we just send this off Nadir and stuff. So, and then Omega, because like I said, the play with Omega is ridiculous. Card's good. 2 Gustav Max, just because Pot of Extravagance. 1 Pleiades. I thought of playing 2 because it comes up, but I just didn't think I needed it. I just play, obviously playing Extravagance, but you're not always gonna draw it, and then like you don't always need it. So I'd rather have the downside of drawing 2 and then needing a Pleiades, rather than like not playing like Extravagance or something. You know what I mean? So yeah. 1 Link Spider, because it comes up, and then I do side deck Super Polys. I play one of the Predator Plant, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Golden Lord, and 1 what's it called, Mud Dragon. So essentially all these kind of come up sometimes. At first I was trying multiples because of Pot of Extravagance, because I was main decking Super Poly, but I ended up just side decking it. It worked out fine. Most of the time, like you put in cards to deal with like the DPE boards or like the Drytron boards and stuff. So you have like the Mud Dragon. So a lot of the time, like it doesn't conflict with Extravagance, because you could like standby phase Super Poly and then get rid of whatever they have on the board, and then main phase Extravagance, and at that point you got rid of their negates, so you're able to resolve Extravagance. So it's really good. A lot of and there's also scenarios like if you watch like Triff's videos, like I watched a couple of Triff's videos. I don't really like a lot of his like what's it called? I guess like examples of why certain things are certain things. He does make some good points, but a lot of the time like I just don't like it. But he does take out like Extravagance going second against like negate decks, so if you guys do that, then obviously they just become live, because like you'll always have access to them. You know what I mean? But yeah, so against decks that set up a lot of negates, he usually takes out like Extravagance. So having access to these is fine if you want to take out Extravagance for the Super Polys. And then I played 1 Lina. I guess like it's just like I was playing Vampire Sucker over this, but there's scenarios where you take things with DP, not DP, my bad, the Dragon's Prison. So yeah, and then 1 Unicorn is basically what you make off of it. You just make this, get Unicorn, and then like shuffle something, you know. So yeah. And then as far as the side deck goes, this is probably what won me a lot of games. 3 Lava Golem against like every board. This card, broken, man. Just simply broken. You just drop it on people. They don't know how to react. A lot of people don't play around it. They should play around it. Sometimes they play around like Sphere mode, and then you just drop the Lava Golem on them. Against like the Sword Soul boards, most of the time they have like Baron and like their guy that negates, so you just drop this. They usually have 2. Against like the Enforcer decks, they'll have it like boom, you just dropped it. Some guy did like the Dagda Enforcer, like in pop, like they're going. So there's that stuff. So like, so there's a lot of like against like PK, like everything is just really good. So Lava Golem MVP. 3 Inspector border. Every time I go first, I side these in against most matchups. Obviously, you don't side it against like back row decks or like Strikers. Well, Strikers are back row deck, but yeah, so you don't side it in against any back row deck. But against most combo decks, this is just really good. Yeah, stops Flinders, which is pretty funny. I won every Flinder matchup because of this card, so yeah. 1 Pankratops, just a good going second card. I don't think I sided this in once, but it's a good going second card. 3 Super Poly, this card is just ridiculous. I'm not going to mention it. I don't know how the decks don't side that card. That card just won me so many games. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Yeah, against back row decks, pretty much. 3 Evenly, this is probably the card of the format. Against back row decks, you just like we just lose to this card, like period. Like if we don't have Solemn Judgment, this card just destroys us. Against everything, this was really good. I cleared like a bunch of Sword Soul boards with this. I killed like the what's it called? The Live Twin deck. Like every deck just loses to this card. Against like Invoke Shadal, like it's just really good. Like it's just so good. And then 1 goes in match. Like I said, the 3rd goes in match, just against matches where you need it, you want to have access to it, you just play it, you know what I mean? So against it's a good way to just break boards because a lot of the time like the super like combo heavy decks, they'll summon like multiple negate monsters and then you just set this plus like strike. You flip it and try to negate it or something and you just strike the monsters and you just auto win. And yeah, I mean that's it for the deck, guys. Like I said, sorry about the long intro in the beginning, but I just wanted to get like all the info out. And yeah, so now you're gonna see me at Pasadena, but now I'm one of the VIPs essentially, right? So now I get that 2-round bye. I was able to qualify. It sucks because I had entered multiples just to try to like kind of get it. I didn't realize I was gonna get it like in the first one technically not the first one, right? Because I played in the first one the week before, but like there's some lined up for the weekend that happened over the weekend, and I signed up for multiple. And I won in the first one, so I wasn't able to play in the second one. I didn't need to. I ended up going to locals instead. But yeah, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.